Hi, welcome to another episode of the Out of Office Club. Today is all about working online. What is it like? Is it for me? How do I find jobs and clients? That's everything that I want to discuss today because I know a lot of people that have asked me about this that say, I want to work online, but I don't really know where to start and what is it even like. So that is what I want to talk about today. So if you're curious about working online and remote, then this is a great episode for you. So, as you can see, for anyone who's watching this on YouTube, I am no longer in Peru. I'm currently back in the Netherlands, staying at my sister's, who's still renovating. So, looks a bit messy maybe, but I'm very lucky that I get to stay in her nice little apartment. And that's where I'm filming this from today. It's been a very crazy week. Lots of traveling, lots of flights. I was in Spain for a little bit, but I'm happy to be back in the Netherlands. I don't know yet how long I'll stay, but the Dutch summer is good. So I also don't feel very rushed. I don't have any plans yet. So we'll see what happens, or well, where I'll be filming from next week. So then let's get into the online work. As a very brief recap, I have always been interested in business, whether I realized that or not when I was younger. I then went on to study illustration and graphic design. It was good, but then I switched to business management and marketing, which fitted me a lot better. And then just before I graduated, I started my own company in marketing, in digital marketing, which I did for about 4 years. And now I've switched more to design. So I've been working and traveling for about 5 years now. And I've been a digital nomad for full time for 2 years. And a lot of people ask me what it is like, what working online is. And people are wondering, should I do that too? Because, of course, working online and remote gives you a certain kind of lifestyle and gives you more flexibility over your own calendar, over the location where you work. So it has a lot of pros to it. But I want to talk a bit more about what it is like so that you can decide for yourself whether or not this would fit you. Because a remark I got last week, which I thought was very valid, was, do you not miss that interaction with people? How do you manage working alone every day, all the time? And that's very valid. I don't sit in an office. I don't have people around me. I don't get that interaction every day of having coworkers. I have clients, but of course that's on a, it's a different relationship than you would have with coworkers where you can talk about things more. And I just simply don't have that. That is something you need to be okay with, and you need to know if you can handle that. I know a lot of people that thrive in those, office situations and that really need to and want to have coworkers. For me, not so much. I quite like working on my own. I don't mind sitting by myself for hours behind my laptop and just doing my thing. I think I've always done that. Never bothered me. So for me, that works. But think about for yourself whether you would like it or not. Because I think that's a big part of working online and remote. You do spend a lot of time by yourself. That said, if I do feel like, I really want to brainstorm about this with someone, or I need some ideas, or I'm a bit stuck, I either talk with my client. I have a good relationship with some of them, so I can call them and we have a brainstorm session together. Or if I'm really stuck on a project, I can call some of my friends who also have their own company or do something similar, and I'll talk about it with them. Like, hey, how would you handle this situation? Because it's not always easy to speak about that with clients. And that to me is enough. I have my people close by me that I can ask advice from, and that to me is enough. But that's something that I wanted to highlight, because that is something you need to be okay with. And then, of course, a lot of people ask, well, how do I actually start? I don't have that much experience, or I don't even have a portfolio. What do I do? I really want to work online and I want to go and travel, but how do I start? And this is, of course, not easy thing to answer because it really depends on what you want to do. I think for a lot of things, for a lot of online work, I would say the best advice I can give you is to start. I didn't have a great portfolio. I was barely even graduated, but I started. And the first couple jobs I did were not great and they didn't pay well and I didn't like them that much, but I did do it. And from that, I built up my portfolio. So just start. Also, some people think that they need to have some great idea or something incredibly special or unique that they can offer before they can start online working. And that's just not true. You can start with something basic. Think about what skill people need a lot. What kind of work do a lot of companies need help with? That could be marketing, design, web design. It can be copywriting. Of course, now a lot of in tech or in AI. And what exactly could I offer in that particular industry or that market? I started very small. I started with social media marketing. That to me was the easiest to get into, the part that I found most interesting because it nicely combined my illustration and graphic design background with my business background. So that was easy. And that could be a good place to start. What do I already have some knowledge or skill in? What do I like? And then look at, okay, what are people then searching for? I also, this might be, some people might have a different opinion on this, but I didn't niche down at all for about 3 to 4 years. I'm still not super niche down. And what I mean with that is there's people that say I offer website design, but only to tech companies. Or I do social media marketing, but only for lawyers. And why that works really well is because you show that you have an expertise also in that market. You understand their target audience and you understand how they speak, what they want. And that is really valuable. And while that is a smart move at some point, for the beginning, I wouldn't recommend it. You might not even know yet what market you actually really enjoy and what niche you want to work in. So maybe be a bit more broad, take on anything that you get until you figure that out, until you have more of a portfolio, until you understand better what it is that you can offer, what you like, and what companies need. And something else, don't worry if you're not too confident yet. If you don't feel like if you feel like I don't have the right skills yet, I can't do it yet, start anyway. Very often, companies want a job done, not necessarily because they themselves don't know how to do it, but because they simply don't have the time. So even if you might not be an expert at something, you take away time and effort from a company, and that in itself is valuable. And then while you're on the job, you will learn so much, not just about the job itself, but also about how to do the client communication. How do I set up the company? What do I do? What can I offer? What are other things that companies are asking for? When I started in social media marketing, I learned very quickly that there were many companies that now had their social media set up, but after they clicked to their website, nothing was done. The website wasn't optimized. There wasn't a pop up for a newsletter. There weren't any sales there. The whole system after was missing. So I slowly started speaking with these companies and saying, hey, it's nice that you now have social media and you now have followers. But what happens after? Like, are they getting a newsletter every week if they sign up? Do we offer them a free template or a free flyer, whatever it is? And when they said no, I was like, well, I could do that for you. Like, I didn't pretend to be an expert in that or have all these experience, but they already knew me. They already trusted me. So they're like, yeah, you might as well continue with the rest because you already know our company and we like working with you. So slowly that allowed me to learn more, do more work, build up my portfolio. And that's why I say don't wait till you think you know everything, because that's often not the point. Many clients have asked me something that I honestly didn't know, and they didn't mind if I told them I actually don't know, but I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna figure out how it works, and I'll put it into place for you. I'm like, fine, because either they do that themselves or I do it for them. So they're more than happy for you to also kind of learn on the job. As long as you're honest and you try your best, they'll be fine. You'll be fine. That is kind of my biggest thing. I know it is really scary, but truly, go and start. You'll learn so much of what to do, what not to do. I've made mistakes, so many mistakes, but I did learn from them, and it allowed me to better understand what it is that I want to do and what I can offer. So, if you've heard all of that and still think, I'm going to do this, I want to work online, then of course the next question is, how do I find work? And again, this still depends a bit on what it is you want to do, because there's many ways to work online. I offer a direct online service, which is right now logo design, website, social media posts, anything that requires design. But of course, you could also do or be a VA, which is a virtual assistant. You can go into drop shipping. You can do more with AI and prompt creation, or uh, offering the services to integrate AI, whatever it is. But still, what I would recommend if you're starting is first to build a portfolio. I think I've already talked about this a bit before, but there's a difference between a CV and a portfolio. So a CV is what you use when you go, sorry, on like LinkedIn. That's when you send a CV. You want a permanent job, full-time job. You send your CV with everything that you've ever done, what you've studied, what your skills are. Your portfolio is something completely different. Potential clients want to know what kind of work you've done that shows that you know what you're doing. So it's not so much about what you've studied or what your skills are. It's about showing, hey, I've done this project. These were the results. Here's what I did. And this is the outcome. Because then they understand, okay, you know what you're doing. They want to kind of see your way of thinking, how you handle a project. And that is a very, very important thing to have, is that portfolio. So even if you don't have that much work yet, try to build up a good portfolio. I'd rather have one really good or see one really good project in someone's portfolio than 10 not great ones. So even if you don't have experience, try and find a kind of a mock-up project and build your portfolio out with that. And then you could start applying. And applying truly is a numbers game. The more you apply, the faster you'll find a client. But applying, of course, takes a lot of time. And on many platforms, it costs some type of money or like credits, whatever it is, which I know is not great. But that's a bit of the investment that you're going to have to do if you want to find clients, at least on those kind of freelance platforms. Some really good examples that I've worked with before is the main one is Upwork. They, when I look for projects, there's new projects every minute, especially for design work. But there's so much on there, and it's a trusted platform. Many companies use it. It's easy to use. It is not. I don't think it's cheap necessarily. The credits that you have to use to apply, but that's where I got my first client, or the first one that I had no connection with. And I still find work through it. So that's what I recommend. Also have a look at Fiverr. I've personally not really used it much, but it is a really good platform for freelancers. And my third one is Contra, which I've also not used personally. I think I have an account, but I've not actively used it. But those are the three main ones. And then there's other ones like We Work Remotely, or you can even look on LinkedIn and start applying. Write for yourself a template message where you explain, hey, my name is this, I offer this to companies who want to achieve this, and then a short bullet points, these are all the services. If you want more info, if you want to have a chat, then let me know. Very simple, but that works best. And of course, attach your portfolio. The other thing I would recommend is, again, the importance of your network. So make sure you go on LinkedIn, tell everyone. I mean, LinkedIn posting is free, so do that if you can. And that's just the best way to go. And also, what I highly recommend, especially if you're starting, you might get requests you might get requests for interviews for projects that might not be completely what you want to do. But when you're starting out, I do recommend you to take those interviews. Even if at the end you might have to say, I'm sorry, this is actually not what I expected, or it's not really a fit, go to the interviews because it will teach you so much about what the questions are that people are asking. Because it's completely, or at least I felt it was quite different to a job interview. It was a lot more relaxed and it's a lot more about the projects. And not a single person has asked me what I've studied or where I worked before. It's just, have you done these kind of projects and how did they go? How do you approach these kind of projects and what would you recommend for us? So go on the interviews, see what it's like, get that kind of experience, even if it's not the right job, do the interviews. So that was kind of a very, very quick intro about whether or not online work is for you. I hope it is, because then you're in the right place, and how to find that work, which is applying as much as you can online. And then lastly, I want to talk about a bit more the emotional side of online work. So I already spoke about that you have to do it kind of on your own. But something else that I've noticed comes into play a lot is that I often felt like what I knew was not enough. I was doing marketing, but that market is, or that, yeah, that market, I suppose, is moving so fast. There's always new marketing tricks, new things to do, new things to learn. And it's very easy to feel like you don't know enough, like you're not that capable. Other people know more, they're more specialized, they've got more experience, they have some type of secret almost, it sounds like, especially if you post a lot on LinkedIn. It seems like everyone has the secret but you. And all you have to do is comment on their post and then they'll send you the guides and you'll be in on the secret. I can guarantee you there is no secret. Okay? In the end, no one really knows what they're doing. Everyone's trying their best, trying to be seen, get recognition for their work, or find the right people, or it's just trying things out themselves. No one really 100% knows what they're doing. Most of my clients have no idea what they're doing. So when they hire me, I already know definitely slightly more than they do, just because I've been doing it for a long time, or I studied it, or I looked into it more. Don't forget, people also, again, hire you not just because they don't know, but because they don't want to, or because they don't have time. So you probably know already more than most people, because otherwise you wouldn't be in this work, and you definitely know more than your client. So don't worry too much about what you see online, about how other people do it, about what other people charge or don't charge. Like, it's not about them, it's about what you can offer and what you do and what your skills are. Keep that in mind. I, anyway, highly recommend working online. I find it freeing. I get to do what I want to do. I get to work online. I get to travel while I do it, which of course to me is the number one reason I started this. I love it. And yeah, if you're thinking of starting online work and working for yourself or working remote, I can only recommend it. And my main tip would be start. Don't wait around. Don't think you're going to need to have a perfect idea, service, portfolio. Make something, make anything and start. Because that's how you'll learn the most. That's how you'll figure out what it is exactly that you want to do, how you want to do it. And otherwise, you will stay stuck in this idea that it has to be perfect. I launched this podcast a month ago and it is not perfect. My website is not perfect. There's many things that I do for myself that I don't think are perfect, but to other people, they have no idea. They don't see that. They're not as critical as you are about your own work. So if you have any other questions, if there's anything unclear about working online, about how to start, what to do, keep listening to my other podcasts. I'm going to talk a lot more about this. Send me a message on Instagram or here on YouTube, and I'll try my best to respond and give you the right answer. I hope this helped anyone who's thinking about working online. And if you enjoyed it, please subscribe, give a review. That really helps. And then I hope to see you next week. Thank you so much for listening. Bye bye.